Today we're going to make fudge. So this is a recipe that's been in the family for quite a long time. It's been passed down to all of us. This is a poor man's version of fudge. You're only going to need about 3 to 4 little ingredients. You're going to need some good cane sugar. You're going to need some Hershey cocoa, and you're going to need your favorite smooth or creamy peanut butter and a little bit of water. Now, what's great about this recipe is not only is it very quick to make, but by no means is it healthy. It has a lot of sugar content that if you're out in the winter, you're out foraging, if you're out, if you're a prepper, nobody ever thinks about having sweets put back, stuff like that. This is perfect for those kind of things because it preserves well. And two, if you're out working, let's say cutting wood, and you're starting to get tired, you take a piece of this fudge and it's going to give you the sugar rush you need to get through however many cords that you plan on cutting that day. So let's go ahead and we'll get started here. All right, so first things first, 2 cups of sugar. I just use the regular sugar cane granulized sugar, and 2 full cups. Next, your Hershey cocoa. I use 3 teaspoons. It's a little more than a teaspoon, but it's all right. It's a lot of sugar content in there. I like to mix it up, get it started mixing pretty good there. Now, what happens is when you start putting this over heat, obviously the sugar is going to break down and it's going to liquefy. So you don't want to add too much water to this. If you do, that's more water that you're going to have to evaporate out. So my suggestion is to take a teaspoon at a time and add water in to get it where you want. Now, for me, I know it's roughly about 4 to 5 teaspoons. I'm going to grab a little bit of a tablespoon here. Let me get this out of the way. I don't want to, get it all gummed up. So I'm going to start adding some water. There's 3. Just put a little bit more in there. Okay. And if you hear a ruckus in the background, that would be my bullies. They're wrestling, having all kinds of fun. I just brought them in. I gave them some treats earlier, and almost like the sugar. They had a little bit of a sugar high, and now they're just full of spunk. Oh, and here, look at me. I'm making all kinds of a mess. So, now, turn your stovetop on. Not exactly high, because you don't want this to really burn. But you see how we've got it damp. The sugar will reduce down into a liquid, and we don't want those grains. So, I've got it on my fingers. Let's move over to the stove. Alright, so now we're over here at the stove. Our heat, it's a little bit higher than medium high. It's almost too high until I can start getting it to reduce down. Then I will back the heat off a little bit. But like I said, we need to get all the granules. We want a good smooth chocolate by the time we're ready to move on. So, if you have a helper in your kitchen, have them to go get a little bit of butter and start buttering your plate. Butter a plate and have it on standby, because once we get this to the consistency we want it, and it normally takes between 10 and 15 minutes to reduce this down under the heat. We're going to, once we get it all to the texture we want it, we're going to pour it onto that plate, and then it'll take roughly 20-25 minutes to set up to where it's ready to cut into little squares and bite size and for you to eat. So, where are we at? We're at, okay. So, I'm going to pause this so I don't run out of time. That way I can periodically go ahead and start it back and have you see the reduction process. Okay, so we are roughly 3 minutes in, and you can still see some grains, some granules from the sugar. I like mine completely smooth, no granulates. One way to test it is take a little bit on your finger, and once you can feel the grain in there, also a good way to taste test, but once you got your grain in there, you feel it, you know you got a few more minutes to go. We're only 3 minutes in, and like I said, it normally takes 5 to 10 minutes to get this down to the consistency that I like. Okay, so it's starting to reduce pretty good, but there's still a little bit of granulates that I don't like. So I'm going to go ahead, back the heat off just a hair, because I don't want this to boil. But I want it to reduce, continue to reduce. I want it to be a smooth looking chocolate. And I don't know if you can see, but yeah, there's still some granulates there. Now listen, when it comes to cooking, I'm messy. I'm just going to let y'all know. I clean up good, but I am messy. So keep reducing, and once it gets to a syrupy chocolate without any type of granulate consistency, we'll be ready for our next phase. Okay, I am now at the 9-minute mark, and you see how frothy it is? It is reducing down very nicely, and the granulate texture and look is almost completely gone. Yes. So this is set up very nicely. To check what we're going to do, first of all, I'm going to reduce the heat a little bit, just a hair, to medium heat. Long enough to take just a drop of my chocolate into cold water, and it should make like a little Hershey kiss, and it's intact like a Hershey kiss. Now, as soon as it hits the water, if it breaks apart, continue to stir, because you need the sugar to completely break down and mix well with the chocolate. Now, to help those bond even better together, what I'm going to do now is my last step. Take a heap of helping of peanut butter here, and I'm going to add it in. And stir, 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 stir. You want that to break down quite good, and it'll help it thicken up. You'll start seeing once the the peanut butter is fully starting to break down, it'll start changing the color. It'll lighten the dark chocolate up to a little bit of a lighter, but it's going to be a lot thicker context. So there we go, and there it is. It's finally that peanut butter is breaking down. And you can see how it's lightening up. Now, I like it a little bit smoother, so I want to make sure I get that peanut butter in there really good. And then we're going to move to the plate and we're going to pour it out. Okay, so now here we are at the plate. And remember, this plate, we coated a light coating of butter on it. That way the chocolate, as it's cooling, will not stick. It won't stick to the plate. It'll be easier to get it off there. Oh yeah, this is going to turn out great because it's already starting to set up. So, look at that. Okay, let this go for about 25 minutes. Let it set for 25 minutes to a half hour. You can put it in the refrigerator if you'd like. I just let it set out on the counter and let it cool that way. And when we're done, we will cut it in strips and cube it, make it into little bite-sized squares. And what you will have left is what I have here. It's the batch that I made about 30 minutes ago, and you see how it breaks open. And really, I can't eat this stuff because I'm a diabetic, but I'm going to try it. That's my childhood right there. So that's perfect. And now, from start to finish, what you have is roughly about 20 minutes. 20 minutes and you have a candy for the price of what you would go and buy 2 Snickers or 3 Musketeers or 2 Reese's Pieces. You have your own homemade poor man's fudge. I hope you guys enjoy this. Go ahead, give her a try. Taste it. If it's no good, feel free to comment. If it's good, feel free to comment. Please like and share, and we'll see you again.